That means to the nines. That means you're gonna be going, yeah, big time. All right, so.
And moved over in the pit.
Yep, you're gonna be able to fix anything whenever you. That's what the whole thing is. Nick says that they working him pretty hard over right there, right, Nick?
No, not for real.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Yeah. Have you got your first paycheck yet?
No.
Yeah. Oh, so they're
I
actually.
get it this Thursday.
You get it this Thursday?
Yeah.
Now that is the line. Now this right here is a disaster area. That line is so rusty, and that's a fuel line that was just squirting fuel everywhere. Nick, that is why the car would burn a quarter of a tank of gas between here and up high school. You know what I'm saying? It's terrible. So we're going to replace that line. We're going to fix it where it won't leak. And then we're going to replace some brake lines so your sister won't get killed when she hits her foot on the brake and it goes down like stepping on a plum. You know what I'm saying? All right, lay that over and sit down in here and enjoy the show. Now what sensor measures the load on the engine? A, the oxygen sensor. B, the intake air temperature sensor. C, the map sensor. Or D, the TP sensor. You guys should know this. You should know this. What sensor measures the load on? How does the engine controller know how much of a load is on the engine? Now what does IAT, intake, is it going to measure the temperature of the air to do that?
No.
Is it going to measure the oxygen sensor? Is that going to tell it that? No, that's not going to tell it either. What about the wigwam indicator, which would be the TP sensor, right?
So what's that?
Huh? Manifold absolute pressure. That's measuring vacuum. Oh, so that's speed density, so it's going to be the map sensor, isn't it? Okay, if the map sensor is reading too low, it's going to puff black smoke. Ain't that right, Timothy? Yeah, a throttle position sensor is what kind of sensor? Is it a voltage generating sensor? Is it a potentiometer? Is it a piezoelectric sensor? Or is it a rheostat? Now a rheostat is going to be like what you're going to have on this headlight switch. It's going to brighten and dim your headlights when you turn the knob or when you roll that wheel. If you got one of those older vehicles. The voltage generating is going to be like your oxygen sensor or your variable reluctance sensor, like your crank sensor. And piezoelectric is going to be like your knock sensor. You put pressure on a piece of quartz, it makes voltage, right? So there's only one that can be left. It's got to be a potentiometer. And a potentiometer is the one that's got this winding going around out here, and on this side you got 5 volts. On this side you got ground going through the engine controller. And this one here wipes up and down. There's your third wire. And as it goes closer to the voltage, you're going to have a higher voltage. And when you head all the way to the top, it'll usually be about 4.6. Down close to the bottom, it'll be about 1 volt. Unless it's a GM, they like to put half volt at idle, at the closed throttle. What sensor measures the temperature of the engine coolant? MAP sensor, ECT sensor, oxygen sensor, or IAT? Not complicated, guys. ECT stands for engine coolant temperature, right? Engine coolant temperature. All right. So, Timothy, can you find a tape measure and measure that and tell me how long it is? Because he may not be sending us a line that's long enough.
Two sensors measure oxygen.
That's right. Let's see. It measures the amount of oxygen in the exhaust. Yep. O2S. That's number 4. Now, number 5. Which sensor measures the temperature of the air entering the engine? Huh? IAT, intake air temperature sensor. So, fuel injectors, what?
Never mind.
What were you starting to ask?
I know the difference. Because I said IAT on the first one. But
yeah. That's it. He got crashed and burned on that one. Fuel injectors are what?
Fuel injectors are inject fuel. Oh, this question.
That doesn't look too bad right there. Maybe we'll have one long enough. He's sending one that's like 72 inches. You think we're going to be having enough?
Yeah, this one's almost about 65.
Okay, well we should have, the one he's sending should work. So fuel injectors are what? Are they a computer sensor, both a sensor and an output device? Neither a sensor nor an output device. An output device controlled by the computer.
Well, I know it's an output device.
It's an output device controlled by the computer.
I say D.
Is it B?
D.
It's D?
Output device controlled by the computer. Okay, here's your fuel injector right here. It's got 2 wires going to it, and it's got fuel delivered to it. And right here, coming from your relay, right there, you're going to have, it's going to be closed, it's going to be getting B plus right there, and then your engine controller, actually inside, has got a transistor that's gonna be driving that thing to ground. So it's basically gonna have this right pulsing that to ground, and every time it's got ground going in there, it's squirting out some fuel. And so basically on your scope, what you would have for a fuel injector, or just about any other solenoid that operates that way, is that right there. This is how much time the injector is open. This is the spike that's created when the magnetism collapses across the windings in the injector. And basically, as it needs more fuel per squirt, it spreads out. Okay, that's how that works right there. Which sensor is located between the air cleaner housing and the throttle body? MAP, TP, mass airflow, or wideband oxygen sensor? Mass airflow, yeah, you're a smart cookie. The ignition system creates high voltage, which is created in the spark plug, pickup coil, trigger wheel, ignition coil. Hello? Ignition coil, that's right. Don't play dumb with me. All right, what is used to ignite the air fuel mixture in the cylinder? I know that yesterday was daylight savings time day, but you guys need to, you know, you need to charge up. That's what you're gonna do. Who's out there? Somebody out there?
Someone's out there in a pink shirt.
Huh? Ask him, tell him who is out there. Tell him to come here.
Air Conditioner Federation.
Joey! Come here, Joey. Don't you try to sneak out of here on me. What they found, where you at? Is he did he leave or is he still here?
I think he's still.
There
I'll
he
come
is.
back. I'll
No,
come back.
what he did was they were measuring with a micrometer and they said your left front caliper, I mean not your left front caliper, your left front brake rotor is really got horrible differences in thickness and all the way around. I mean, it's like huge all over the place. That's what y'all were telling me. They measured it in like, how many, 6, 8 different places? And it's just everywhere. It's all over the map. The one on the right, not so bad. But that one there is terrible. So we're probably gonna wind up machining that left front rotor, or if we can spend lots of your money, we may replace it.
Ooh.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna try to machine it.
I want to go for a second.
All right, that's a deal. Okay.
Okay,
All right.
so that's where my noise is coming from.
Well, and that's where it's all over the bouncing real bad when they hit the brake, from what they were saying, too. Making a
Oh, when they drove it?
when they hit the brake,
Okay.
it was awful. See, it was on my phone.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Ignition system creates a high voltage ignition coil. What's used to ignite the air fuel mixture in the cylinder of the gasoline engine? An arc at the spark plug. A waste spark ignition system does what?
A waste spark,
Waste spark ignition system does what?
it fires 2 sparks at the same time.
Fire 2 spark plugs at the same time. That's exactly right, because it's basically firing one in the exhaust stroke, one in the intake stroke. I'm sorry, one in the compression stroke. All right. How many ignition coils should you expect to find on a V6 engine using a waste spark system? If it's a V6, how many coils is it going to have?
6.
They hung up the time I got to it. Rick.
Well, now, dagnabbit, bring me that phone.
Okay.
It's 3.
You were too slow. All right. What's that now?
It's 3.
You're going to have 3,
Yeah.
because y'all just got through saying,
Yeah, that's why I was.
let me see who this missed call was. We got 2 missed calls already.
So the back ones were all right?
We haven't done those.
They're actually measuring them. They're measuring them all, and they measured the front.
Well, Adam
camera.
was satisfied with the way everything looked, but I told him yes, I.
Yeah, well, they were measuring it to see what was making all this bouncing
Yeah.
and everything you got going. What kind of noise were you talking
Well,
about?
when I was backing up Thursday, that's when I first caught it. I thought it was something on welding. I was backing up to go to lunch. I could hear metal to metal, like a grinding.
Uh-huh,
And it sounded like it was in the rear passenger.
uh-huh.
But
Keep that in mind, guy. Rear passenger.
yeah,
And you too,
it's what
Tim.
it sounded like. And yesterday when I moved it around, I didn't drive it all weekend. I drove the big truck and I went and moved it up there on the drive where I could leave on this morning. Every time you back up, you can hear it. You know, you could hear
So
it.
you don't hear it going forward?
Not as much as you do backing up. You will hear it. You will hear it, but when you're backing up, it's very distinct. You know?
This is a significant piece of information, right? You got that? All right. We're gonna see what we can do for you.
All right. So y'all.
All right then. All right, we use waste spark, let's see, blah, blah, blah. What term describes the order the spark reaches the cylinder? Firing order. How many of you guys have pulled the distributor out of that 350 Chevrolet and put it back in? Michael's done it several times.
I've done 100 times.
Huh? You done it about 756,212 times?
Yeah.
You're pretty good at it. All right, so, all right, everybody's gonna have to be able to do that. If you can't put a distributor in and you're an engine performance dude, you ain't making it, man. Because there's still a lot of vehicles out there with distributors in them. And if you know, it's just if you go to if you're working at a shop, you say, I can't put this rubber in, I was never taught how to do that. Then you would lie,
You mean
because
that
you got a
engine over
choice.
here?
Huh?
You mean that engine over here?
Yeah, that 350. And you were making it harder than it was, Michael. Technician A says the fuel pump relay is usually controlled by the PCM. Technician B says that TBI injector squirts fuel above the throttle plate. Which technician is correct
Well, I
about
know
that?
A is 100%.
Now, the TBI, the throttle body injecting, is actually squirted above the throttle plate because it's like a carburetor, but it's got 2 injectors in it, right? So that's gonna be right. And fuel pump relay is usually controlled by the PCM, that's good. 13, yeah, so both of them are right on that one. Where is the fuel squirted in an engine equipped with gasoline direct injection? Is it squirted into the intake manifold, under the throttle plate, into the cylinder, or above the throttle plate? Into the cylinder, that's B. Usually has really high fuel pressure too, because they want really small droplets so we can have better flame propagation and the fuel burns better. What part turns the injectors on and off? What part turns the injectors on and off? Come on, guys.
Hey,
The ignition system turns the injectors off and on? Really? PCM, yeah, there you go. Port type injection system squirts the fuel where? In the intake port near the intake valve, that's correct. The fuel pressure regulator can be mounted where? A, on the fuel rail. B, part of the fuel pump module assembly. C, inside the engine under the intake manifold. Or D, either A or B. Now, I'm gonna tell you on CSFI engines, the old central sequential fuel injection engine, it's under the intake manifold. It's actually inside the plenum, which is a peculiar place. They got a little vacuum port on it, but it ain't got a line hooked to it. It's just got the prevailing vacuum in that chamber is what provides it. Now, the right answer that they're basically wanting is D. It could be either B or C. That's what they're, either A or B. But it actually can be underneath, in the plenum, I would say, not necessarily under the intake manifold. Idle speed is controlled by what?
C, D, B.
Well, you thought you were either B or C. It's either going to be an idle air control valve or electronic throttle control system. All right, what is the fuel injector? Where is the fuel pressure regulator located on a return type fuel injection system? Return type. Ding, 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 ding.
And that's something like fuel filter?
Huh?
And that's something to do with fuel filter?
It's actually, no, it's actually going to be, if it's a return type, it's going to have a line going from the fuel rail back to the tank along with the one coming up, right? So it's going to be at the outlet of the fuel rail going back to the tank. You got that? So identify the throttle position sensor assembly in this diagram.
19 is B.
Huh?
19 is B then?
19 is B, as in boy, as in Baker, as in Bravo. All right. Identify the throttle position sensor assembly in this diagram. Where is the throttle position sensor assembly? Is that C?
E is D, ain't it?
Now you see how they got the letters all screwed up? A is E, B is A, C is C, and D is D? Let me see if I can answer this phone call. That's it. You guys are done. It should be 20. 20 should be B.